Today, we're diving into a game changer, the executive order signed by President Trump on March 6, 2025, establishing the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve and U.S. Digital Asset Stockpile. We'll break down sections 1, 2, and 3 of the order, explore the fact sheet for extra insights, and take a deep dive into bitcoinlaws.io, a site tracking Bitcoin legislation. This video is packed with details on how the US is positioning Bitcoin as digital gold and what it means for AI, policy, and your wallet. Whether you're new to crypto or a skeptic, let's unpack this step toward America as the crypto capital. Let's start with Section 1 of the executive order titled Background. This sets the stage by calling Bitcoin the original cryptocurrency, launched with a fixed supply of 21 million coins, capped forever by its protocol, a feature that's never been hacked. That scarcity and security earn it the nickname digital gold, a term you'll hear a lot here. The order notes the US government already holds a significant amount of Bitcoin, likely from seizures, but hasn't maximized its value as a strategic asset. It argues that just as we manage gold or oil, we should harness digital assets for prosperity, not limit them. This is a bold pivot. Trump's framing suggests Bitcoin could stabilize the financial system, much like traditional reserves. Now, let's think about this critically. The never hacked claim is true for the protocol itself, but exchanges and wallets have been breached. Think Coinbase recently. The fixed supply is a strength, but it also fuels volatility, with prices swinging from $109,000 in January 2025 to $86,000. Is this really a strategic move or a political win for crypto backers? The order doesn't say how much Bitcoin the US holds. Estimates suggest 200,000 BTC worth $17.5 billion today. But that opacity raises questions. For beginners, this is Bitcoin's entry into the big leagues. For skeptics, it's a gamble. Next, we'll hit Section 2 for the policy details. Moving to Section 2, Policy, the order declares its U.S. policy to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a U.S. digital asset stockpile. The reserve focuses on Bitcoin as a long-term asset, while the stockpile manages other digital assets. This dual approach aims for orderly control, a shift from the scattered management of seized crypto. Section 3 dives into the nitty-gritty. Subsection A tasks the Treasury Secretary with creating an office to run the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, funded by Bitcoin forfeited in criminal or civil cases, stuff not needed for other legal obligations. Agencies have 30 days to review if they can transfer their Bitcoin to this reserve and report back. Crucially, this Bitcoin won't be sold, it's a permanent reserve asset. Subsection B sets up the digital asset stockpile for non-Bitcoin assets, also from forfeitures, with the Treasury deciding how to manage it, including possible sales. Subsection C lets the Treasury and Commerce Secretaries craft budget-neutral ways to buy more Bitcoin, but no new assets can join the stockpile without further action. Subsection D defines government digital assets as all Bitcoin and stockpile assets, restricting sales unless for victim compensation, law enforcement, or legal requirements. This is huge. Centralizing control could secure these assets, but the no-sale rule for Bitcoin locks in its value, potentially inflating it further. The 30-day agency reviews and 60-day Treasury evaluation in subsection E show a tight timeline, but the budget-neutral clause limits aggressive buying. Critics might argue that if no new stockpile assets are allowed, why bother with it? Well, this means Bitcoin's getting official backing. Skeptics might see a conflict, especially with David Sachs, the crypto czar, involved. Did he sell his holdings before this, as he claimed on X? The order's silence on quantities fuels debate. 200,000 BTC is a guess, not a fact. This could make the US a crypto powerhouse or a speculative bubble. Now, let's turn to the fact sheet, which adds color to the order. It reinforces that the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve uses forfeited Treasury Bitcoin, with agencies checking transfer rights and no sales will happen, keeping it as a reserve asset. The fact sheet echoes the budget-neutral strategy for more Bitcoin, a point not detailed in the order's sections. It also highlights the digital asset stockpile's forfeiture-only rule and the Treasury's sales discretion, aligning with Section 3. What's new here? The fact sheet calls Bitcoin digital gold due to its scarcity and security, noting premature sales cost taxpayers $17 billion. Context for why this move happened. It addresses a crypto management gap, where seized assets were scattered, lacking oversight. This centralization aims to maximize value, a policy gap the order doesn't spell out. Trump's pledge to make America the crypto capital ties to his first-week order and the upcoming White House Crypto Summit, showing commitment beyond the text. Critically, the $17 billion loss claim is vague. Were those sales strategic or mismanaged? The never-hacked boast ignores exchange risks, and the capital focus might favor industry donors over taxpayers. For beginners, this is Bitcoin gaining legitimacy. Skeptics should question the hype versus hard data. Now, I wanted to share a website where we can track Bitcoin and digital asset legislation in the US, bitcoinlaws.io. On this page, click the Policy Data tab and then All States. This page gives a state-by-state breakdown of every Bitcoin and digital asset law, from mining regulations to reserve proposals. You can click any state to dive into its policy details. Think of it as a policy passport for all 50 states plus territories. Each state's page lists bills with statuses like proposed, enacted, or failed. For example, you might see Texas, for example, here, with multiple reserve bills. So if you want to track the progress of Bitcoin legislation, which again includes strategic Bitcoin reserve bills, regulations, and new laws affecting cryptocurrency in the state of Arizona, just click here. You can click on any given bill, see its status, and a link to the actual bill. Now, let's go back and click on Federal with its 15 active bills to see what's brewing nationally. The page highlights executive orders already enacted, like the March 6, 2025 order creating the strategic Bitcoin reserve here, and again, you can click and see a summary of the bill. So, all these bills cover everything from reserve management to stablecoin regulation, reflecting a busy 2025 legislative session. Let's focus on the bills in Committee 1, for example, HB 148 here. This refers to the initial review stage, where a congressional committee, like the Senate Banking Committee or House Financial Services Committee, evaluates a bill's feasibility. Committee 1 is where experts testify, amendments are proposed, and votes decide if the bill moves forward. I particularly like this bill, which purpose is to ensure that individuals can self-custody digital assets using self-hosted wallets without interference from federal authorities. This stage can take months, with some bills stalling if consensus falters. You can click on the official bill page to see the actual bill and track it here as well. This bill, introduced by Representative Warren Davidson, has not yet passed the House, for example. If we go back here and click on Arizona, this state's been a crypto hotspot in 2025. Some bills are enacted, like HB 2749, signed May 2025, establishing a digital assets reserve, making Arizona a pioneer after Governor Hobbs's earlier veto flip. These laws are now active, directing state funds into Bitcoin. Others are in Chamber 2, the second legislative chamber, here the Arizona House after Senate passage, or vice versa. For example, SB 1062 on legal tender status moved to actually Chamber 2 in March. We can see that on the bill status itself, awaiting a House vote. This stage tests bipartisan support. A pass sends it to the governor. Some bills failed, SB 124, which never made it out of committee, killed by lack of support. Arizona's roller coaster reflects national debates, with enacted laws showing progress and failed ones highlighting risks. So as you can see, we can definitely use this website to stay ahead of the crypto policy curve, with real-time or near real-time updates on federal and state laws, from reserve races to failed bills. Bitcoinlaws.io is a one-stop shop. Whether you're investing or just curious, this site's insights can help you navigate the future of Bitcoin policies. So I hoped you learned more about the Bitcoin Reserve Executive Order, fact sheet, and bitcoinlaws.io to track the progress of Bitcoin legislation. Like this video and subscribe for more. Check the description for a link to my course and share your thoughts below.